So with this series of mixed media illustrations, I had three main interests in mind. The first being printmaking. Because I teach the printmaking course, I wanted to incorporate some printmaking into the faculty show. The second being illustration. Again, because of my interest in illustration, I wanted to feature that. And then the third being collaboration with my kids. Like that's a big part of our family life is drawing together and kind of seeing what develops. This is a little bit more prescribed as far as I had a specific vision that I was trying to put together, and so the kids' drawings as a part of this series was a starting point. Ethan, my 13-year-old, had come home from school with some what I would refer to as trading card characters that were these plant forms with faces, and I really liked the aesthetic that he was working with that series, and I thought about the juxtaposition of more of a scientific illustration in combination with that. So we have like the little character and the illustration overlapping, and then in addition to that, I was kind of playing around with the idea of scientific, the scientific family name for that particular element. So any of these images that has a plant or a vegetable, that's a collaboration with my son Ethan. And the animals, Maya loves to draw animals and always gives them such personality. So she and I did this series where she drew 5 animals that she wanted to draw, and then I took her drawings, scanned them in, burned screens, did a 2-color print on the page, and then came back and illustrated the same animal in a pen and ink format. One of the interesting things about printmaking is it's about additions of images that are exactly the same. So you can do, 50 to 100 to 300 images that are exact copies with the processes. With this combination, this mixed media combination, these are individual pieces that, if I were to do multiples, each one would be different because of the illustration. No matter how hard I tried to exactly replicate the hatching in the illustration itself, each one is going to have a little bit different sort of tonal quality or placement of line or sort of expression within the line. So I like this idea of taking a process that is meant for multiples, but making it very sort of singular in its execution. My artist statement mentions the work that I do in my sketchbooks being very drawing heavy or illustrative. I draw a lot of animals in the sketchbooks, and so these combinations that I did with Maya are very sort of natural. It's just a natural sort of extension of that exploration. Honestly, I don't draw a lot of just plants in general, so this was kind of a fun challenge. I like the detail within the plants and taking the opportunity to really noticing sort of the structure of like leaves or the structure of the vegetable form itself, and translating that in a clear way through illustration. And obviously here, like, the roots are a section of the illustration where there was some fun had as far as like the directionality of those roots and like just how they build on top of one another, the overlap and those types of things. So this series is a standalone body of work, an opportunity to to work through collaboration in a way that I normally don't with my kids. Every year for Father's Day, we do a collaborative painting, each of myself and each of the kids individually, and those are much more expressive, and we're both working on the same surface. This is a much more controlled kind of approach to collaboration, and as far as the overall aesthetic, I'm pleased with how it came together for the show. My screen printing and printmaking practice is usually a bit more explorative as far as building up textures and those types of things. So maybe this series is a little bit of an exercise in restraint and setting specific parameters and working within those. But I think it came together nicely, and I'm glad to see it in the space. I would encourage you, if you're able to come to the Marxhausen Gallery, to check these things out in person. Check out all the work. I think this is a really strong show. I think the faculty representation here shows the just the spectrum that we cover within the department and everyone's strengths. And yeah, I'm glad to be a part of the show, and check it out if you're able.